So now we'll get into the pen tool. I'm in Illustrator. I'm going to create a new document by going to File, New. And I'm going to make sure it's a print document. I want it to be letter size, but for the purposes of the demo, I want to make it landscape so it'll fit in the window better. You'll notice when I did that this profile shifted to custom. The measurement here is points. There are a number of options, but if you're not familiar with points or picas, you might want to shift it to inches so that you understand it a little bit better. The Advanced tab tells you a little bit more about the document. Because it is a print document, it will be in CMYK. It has a high raster effect setting. Remember that we can convert objects in Illustrator to raster objects. And in this case, the default here would be setting it to 300. At that point, I'm going to click OK. And we have our document here. Going to get the hand tool and double click on it, which will bring the window, the document to fit in the window. Or if I double click on the zoom tool, it's going to zoom in, and I'll go a little bit further because I want to make sure that we have lots of room here. To make sure that we're all on the same screen, you should make sure that you've got Essentials selected up here, and that in fact you went and said Reset Essentials. That will pull everything back. It has this fly out. You could hit that double arrow there to get rid of it or to dock it again. Here are our layers. You'll notice that by default we have one layer. It's important to note that this is a blue layer. That means that the objects that I create on this layer, when selected, will be outlined or identified in blue. You can change that by double clicking and picking a different color if you wanted, but I'm going to leave it at, in this case, the light blue. So in order to begin to look at the pen tool or drawing paths and the role of the anchor points, the first thing I want to do is go over here and let's just draw a simple rectangle. So I can click on that and hold my shift key down and drag out. Now, right now, that rectangle I drew has a white fill and a black stroke, which is also available up here. If I wanted to change the color of the fill, I could click here and pick something different. I can also do that down here by double clicking on that while it's on top. And just a slightly different version of the color picker. So I can change that. If I would like to change the stroke, I could go the color of the stroke. I could go up here and pick a different color, or once again, click down, bring that to the front and double click and come up with a different color for that. Under stroke, so that we can see that, I can increase this a little bit. So there's our rectangle. What I want to do now is, so that we can see these a little more clearly, I'm going to go up here under View and click on Outline. So this is kind of like a wireframe, and it's showing you the shape without any of its appearances enabled. Again, with the Direct Selection tool, I can click and move this around. if I use my shortcut key and pick the direct selection tool by pressing A, you'll notice that I can go in here and identify or select the anchor points. And there are 4 anchor points here. You need an anchor point every time the path needs to change direction. So of course we're making a right angle turn there, so it needs to be there, again here, here, and here. I can select individual anchor points and move them if I want to modify the shape. I'll using the Command Z to get back. Can also click on the path and modify it. So when I click on the path, it's selecting both of those anchor points and the path in between so that we can modify those. And you'll notice there's also this marker here. And if you click on that and drag, it's going to start curving the corner for you, which is handy. I'll get rid of that. If in fact you have all of them selected and do that, it'll move all of them together. I'll get the direct selection tool by hitting V, holding down the Shift key, and I can scale it down. What's important to note there is that there aren't any direction handles on any of these. If I go and draw a circle or an ellipse, and I'm going to hold down the Shift key again to make perfect circle, and I'll hit the V key to select that, and I can, holding down the Shift key, scale this up and down, things like that. Remember that we're still in outline mode. We could go back to the full preview, but I just want to show you some more things about this shape. Again, I can hit the A key to get my direct selection tool, and if I go up here, you'll notice now, because there's curves here, we have what are called these handles or direction handles, and they're used to modify the curve. Okay, so every time you need a curve, you need to have a direction handle. And these direction handles move in the direction that you're going. Okay, I will go back to the regular view. Because I had this, this foreground and stroke color, it applied the same thing. I could click here with that selected and it'll pull it back to the black and white setting. At this point, I'm going to delete both of these by dragging over them and hitting the delete key.